Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. Before we get to today's project, got a couple of announcements. This, and I'm sure you can't see the whole thing. This was part of my husband's Christmas present from our daughter last year. It was based on a photo of her dog, a French bulldog named Gertie. So I didn't have a real picture to show you, so I brought the cushion. Anyway, first things first, I had to, as we know, Halloween is approaching. So before I could get down to making this video, I had to, this is part of her costume this year. Maybe I can bring this down a bit now. Anyway, this is part of her costume this year. So she's going to be a little pig. And if this reminds you of the old bath mats we all used to have, or those bath mat sets. Wasn't that just gross, the way there were those U-shaped ones that went around the front of the toilet? Ew. Anyway, it was slipping down and covering her eyes, so Nana had to take it in a little bit so it fits better. So hopefully I'll deliver that in a few days and she'll be ready for Halloween. Anyway, now on a more serious note, I wanted to work a bit today on some snippets. Now, I thought that this was a brilliant idea. I can't remember when I saw this video, but it was done by Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. And I mean, it's months ago. And I have another one of these somewhere, but who knows where. Anyway, the point of all this, this phone seems awfully high. I'm probably going to bring it down a smidge more. This was her way of using up 12 by 12 papers that a person maybe didn't really care for. So basically, she suggested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of 12 by 12 paper and just sewn. Now, I thought my stitches were fairly big, but you can see there's some perforation happening, and that's not the end of the world. Anyway, the brilliant part about this, and I will link her channel, not the video, because who knows where it is using a setup like this to pre-make a bunch of snippets. And as you know, Tina has a very sort of flamboyant and almost over-the-top kind of style of decorating, like a lot of lace, a lot of bright colors, bling and feminine images, and what else does she use? Bows and so on. So her book, as she was filling it up, is really a work of art. Now, these are just some extra papers. I'll just show you basically some that I started. So, I don't know, this maybe was a part of a digital or something. I don't know. And I was using this this yellow background, a pattern, an iron-on pattern for embroidery, and then that's as far as I got. Now, of course, there is very good likelihood that your background paper will show in the end, unless you obviously tear or cut around pretty carefully. So that could limit what you're doing. Now, because I want to work on Christmas today, none of these colors really lend themselves that well, but I kind of do have something that I'm going to try. This is some gift wrap that I love. So putting this delicate these delicate pink branches on this sort of pink background, I mean, that's obviously a great start. And that background cardstock will be part of the end product. This is more like tissue paper, and it too is on a pink background and well, wrapping paper. On this, the other, we know that black and gray are great on with yellow, so I use some little Norman Rockwell images here, and this, well, who knows what that is. Essentially, you know, sticking with a black-gray palette there so far. So none of these are actually finished, but I thought, okay, rather than just create a bunch of loose ones here on my desk, why don't I use this system and tell you about this idea in case you haven't already heard or aren't already, excuse me, doing it on your own. So I thought there were a couple possibilities. This is fairly neutral, so I could use a page like this. Now these were, seems to me that this might have come out of like a drapery or upholstery. Well, this is obviously not upholstery fabric, but a fabric sample book. So there's that. And I also thought I could maybe make this work. So why don't we just begin? Now I've gathered all kinds of stuff around me. You know, some lace. This Christmas ribbon that is, I don't know, not my favorite, but hey, by the time a person layers everything on there, you've got, you know, there's very little showing. Eyelet, there's gold rickrack, there's some glittery baker's twine, this, whoops, oh, this is coming undone. Much like the person doing the video. So this, okay, what is this exactly? Where's the end of that pin? So somebody must have, oh, I guess it's bias tape. Now, normally I would probably iron something like that, but again, so little of this will be shown. And sometimes the frayed and tattered, creased, crinkled thing, you know, enhances the look. So I have a few other red ribbons here, a bit of red lace. This has some silver on it. Wouldn't that be kind of nice on there? Anyway, I might jump around from page to page. I also have some burlap. Look how that's fraying. Napkins. Now, napkins may not work in this scenario. This little embroidered thing off something. Some of this paper. Now, this would look good on this page. That came out of an old scrapbook. I bought this from an antique store. So on this page, he had glued down currency from, like, I guess he must have been overseas during the Second World War. So that's where he had his Italian money pasted down. And then I thought it was interesting. On this side, carried in Italy, ITLY, for 11 months. Italy. So these kinds of things could be used. This is stuff that I still had from my retreat that I haven't unpacked. So a few odds and ends in there. No, this isn't, excuse me, this isn't coffee dyed or anything, but I thought this green ledger paper might have a place here somewhere. I do have fabric. Yes, I have a pouch here with fabric and a piece like this. And I also I have, you know, I guess that's my problem. I don't, or part of my organizational problem. I have more than one place where I've got some of these things. So these, of course, are book guts, you know, from the spine. So I guess I thought that if I keep this, you know, sort of front and center and visible, that I'd more likely use it. Well, I guess we're going to use it, but obviously I have more of this somewhere. Okay, what else? Well, that's certainly more than we need anyway, but... Oh, I have... That's a gigantic piece. Let's pick something smaller. Okay, this was part of a thrifted blazer jacket thing, ladies. And I liked it because there are a variety of things happening here. So there's this black, there's this, it feels like chenille, there's this part here, this part, so maybe there's a way to use some of that too. But let us begin. Oh, I should have gathered up some things to glue on. Oh, before we do that, I've mentioned it a couple of times now that I will be doing the 500 plus subscribers giveaway video, you know, showing kind of what the prize will be. It'll be limited to Canada and the US, and I have a plan. We'll be in the States in November. So I need to have this all happening so that if it's a US winner, I can mail it from there. Anyway, of course, you know, these things kind of have to be obviously win-win. You have to win, and so do I. I mean, any YouTuber needs to win in this, and the winning is counted by increasing the number of subscribers, increasing the amount of traffic to the site, number of comments, you know, all those algorithmic kind of things. So I've discovered, to my chagrin, that the default position for YouTube subscriptions is to keep them private. And one of my viewers, was it Sarah? I mean subscribers. Sierra? I'm not sure. Did a little bit of research for me and said that it's in settings. Well, I couldn't... Anyway, long story short, I followed the breadcrumbs and I got to where the place is. So I changed my own subscriptions to public, and I would ask that you do that as well. So in, or, you know, in YouTube, when you're on your own channel, you go to settings, then you pick channel, manage YouTube account, privacy, and then subscriptions. And then kind of there's a toggle on or off. I mean, private or public. So if you want to take a screenshot of that or jot that down, I mean, now I think this manage YouTube is more like a, you know, one of those highlighted bits of text at the bottom of a window or a page that is opened. So it's a matter of clicking on that, and that is the trick to getting you to privacy and subscriptions. So I'll leave that there for another second or two, because really, some of you have been so... I mean, your engagement with me and my channel has been so gratifying, so spectacular, so consistent, so supportive, in my heart of hearts, I hope that someone like that would win the prize, as opposed to somebody who maybe saw a giveaway and thought, hey, why not? Never having subscribed or watched a video or done anything. So I really hope that you do this. And anyway, I beat that horse enough, that dead horse. Okay, so probably use these few as a start, as well as something on this more earthy looking page. Now I have a few options here. Obviously the red and green work, the blue and orange not so much. So, but again, I'm not going to overthink it. And I'm just going, because, frankly, if it doesn't work for Christmas journals, it'll work for something else. So, as Pam at the Paper Outpost would say, let's just create with reckless abandon. So, essentially, I'm not trying to glue down every little speck of this. I'm just... well, maybe I should work towards the bottom of the page, and that way I don't have to be bobbing up and down with maybe something like that. Trying to stay in shot. And again, depending on your own style and your own preference, how big or small you make these is totally, your decision. This, I think, might be from a dust jacket. I mean, it's really old paper, so do I like that side better? Or do I like that side better? Or do I like that on there? Don't belabor it. Or should we use something like this? Oh, see this? Well, let's hope this is strong enough to hold it down. Oh, I have a glue gun. And of course, I've had a glue gun forever. When we had our craft store, of course, that was a sort of a must-have. And it was plugged in. I also had just, like if I was doing large floral arrangements, silk floral arrangements, I also had like a 10-inch electric skillet with pellet glue that was melted. And that way, you're sort of just dipping, whatever, a stem, a stick, or whatever, into there. I have a scar, this little L shape here, that's hot glue. Anyway, so I sit at an antique, no, probably not antique, vintage, office desk, teacher's desk, I don't know. So it's lovely. I think I paid $25 for it. It's got 2 banks of drawers, a center like pencil drawer, and these 2 side, whatever those boards are that come out the side, on each side. So you can imagine I have myself kind of surrounded here. Anyway, because I am an aficionado or a believer in feng shui, my desk is not facing the wall because that is bad feng shui. So that limits kind of sort of what I can do in terms of surrounding myself with some things. I want to be able to see the door, which of course is a feng shui what's the word? Advice, practice, recommendation. And of course, I also want to see the TV in case, which is on the far wall, in case I want to watch TV while I'm crafting, TV or YouTube. Anyway, so I put some command hooks in the knee hole of my desk. And so underneath there, I've got, what have I got? The heat tool, a little travel flat iron, and the glue gun. Anyway, when I was packing up my laptop to go on the retreat, I had to pull out my surge protector, my power bar, blah, 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 get down to the nitty gritty of what I was going to be taking or leaving behind. And then, of course, when I came back, I was doing it in reverse. So, I mean, Mac cords and whatever are pretty identifiable. This is just some kind of sheer something or other. They're very identifiable because they're white and they're bigger and whatever. So I'm thinking, what the heck is this brown cord? It's here, but why isn't it plugged in? So I just plug it in. Not realizing, and it took me forever to figure this out, not realizing that, can I remove this? Or is that sort of bonded onto there? Maybe I should leave that intact. Not realizing that I plugged in the glue gun. And I don't know how many, well, I guess if I thought back, I could figure it out, but how many hours that darn thing was plugged in. I did not burn my kneecap, but I'm thinking, why does it smell like wax here? Really kind of slow to put two and two together. Anyway, so it's at one point I'm thinking, oh my God, maybe it's the glue gun. So I reach under there and of course I touch the nozzle. Luckily didn't burn myself. I don't know, more luck than brains on that one. Anyway, so I unplug it and I'm thinking, OMG, I could have burnt the house down along with all my craft supplies. Because of course, electrical things like that plugged in for too long, very adjacent to a wooden, something, combustible material. Just, I don't know. Sometimes I'm convinced of a guardian angel because really, that could have been disaster. So you can see that I'm just adding a few things here. I'm using this kind of almost brocadey type material. And I suppose, well, at this point, I'm thinking that just for the sake of this video, I'm just tacking this stuff down. If I see, when it comes time to use it, if I see that, oh, it's not holding very well, I could run a stitch through it or just put in a couple of hand stitches. Now, you see, and again, everybody has their own way of doing this, but to get sort of maximum exposure for each layer, I'm sort of angling them a bit as opposed to, just stacking them. So, anyway, do not burn your house down. It probably was also Fire Prevention Week. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so I'm getting kind of gooey here. Let's put this down as well and then maybe switch to some other, oh, God, glue gobbed on there now. Now, of course, there is no, I should be using something better. Maybe to make contact so I don't get too dirty here. There's no, formula, or at least I certainly don't follow any formulas. Because I think formulas are kind of limiting, to be honest. But anyway, there's no magic in how many, on, what you should use. Paper, fabric, sheer, opaque, ribbon, lace. It's kind of whatever your little heart desires. So, okay. What else have we got here? That's kind of on the small side. Do we want to maybe put a bit of this? See, this might have been better underneath. Can I peel that up? Of course I can't. Whoopsie. Yes, so, and of course you'll never see this the same day I'm taping it, but I have been playing catch up, and I've said this before, on some of those, health and maintenance kind of things that we all have to do or should be doing. So, got my new glasses. Oh, see, this would have been better, but oh well. Yesterday, I already said that in a video I did yesterday, so I won't repeat it. Today, I had my appointment with the Caucasian traditional Chinese medicine guy. And had to pick up something at Delta Art. They were those, whatchamacallit, those 10 by 13 bags I've shown you before. These. So I figured for the price, it was $3 something. I got 10 more because I really like them, because they obviously accommodate an 8.5 by 11 very nicely. They can bulge out, as you can see. They're zippered and, pretty see-through enough that, a person can pretty easily tell what's in there. And then Birkenstocks. I have flat feet and plantar fasciitis, which means that I wear orthotics in shoes, and it also means I should never, ever, ever walk around barefooted, because there is no support if you don't have a normal arch. Anyway, so I needed Birkenstock. I have, other sandal types, but I didn't have one I didn't have a pair right this minute that would accommodate wearing socks. And of course, in winter, that's what I want to do. So if I'm just basically sitting at my desk, I don't have to worry too much. For those trips to the bathroom at night, I obviously want to slip on a shoe easily. If I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of standing or trips up and down the stairs, then I would wear my inside runners and so on. Anyway, so I go to this place, and in their display, they've got Birkenstock slippers. I'm thinking, did I die and go to heaven? Now, the prices are stupid. And apparently, I said to the woman, do these things ever go on sale? Not since COVID. Because, of course, they're selling like hotcakes. So why would they, why put them on sale? So anyway, I ended up buying a pair of each. Would it be gross if I... No, hey, we're among friends here. Let me just show you the slipper. This is wool, 70% wool and 30% PES, whatever the heck that is. Oh, made in Italy. It's got this plush little, this lining, this footbed that covers the traditional cork. Oh, you can tell how much gross stuff I have on my floor. It's not the normal sole. This is sort of, I don't know. Anyway, I can't believe it. Like, I'm in love. Anyway, that isn't what I was about to tell you. I then hightailed it home. The weather hasn't been very good here lately. It's been chilly, and I still had some outside work to do. Look at this cute, oh, I could use some of this green stuff maybe. I hadn't removed the annuals that were in the flower pots, you know, the dead bodies. Hadn't cut back the perennials that needed cutting back. So I thought, boy, you know, the warmest part of the day is mid-afternoon. Certainly it gets cool almost as soon as the sun goes down. So that's what I did as soon as I got home. Well, the ground is frozen. The garden hose is frozen. Well, I don't know if the ground is frozen, but the soil in the pots was frozen. A juxtaposition of glittery and sparkly stuff with something very rustic. That can work. Yeah, so that, which is there a right side here? That was kind of disappointing because I hoped that I would still have a chance to really soak in the trees that we planted this year, because, you know, give them a fighting chance of coming through the winter, you know, unscathed. So that didn't happen, but anyway, yeah, just about. And then there I am outside, kind of freezing my butt off, and Googling, do you cut back clematis? And the answer would kind of seem to be no. And what about hydrangea? And the answer kind of seemed to be no, because of course they look so nice with those flower heads of theirs. So there was less cutting down to do than I thought. I did all the peonies, the delphinium. What else? See, and these, in fact, if I didn't add anything more, these could kind of just be bases that, you know, were ready for the next step, but I should go a little further than that. I found this as well, this polka dot. That might look okay there. So, yeah. Anyway. Now, I don't know if we're going to get a second chance at some better weather, but if we do, there's always something to do, some extras to try to take advantage of. Maybe I should do something on this other page. Now, one thing I didn't bring, darn it. One thing I didn't bring was wrapping paper. Oh, and I have some of that as well. I've got some of this cheesecloth stuff. So I'm just sort of digging in with, this was the pouch of fabric that I took to on my retreat. I will, one of these days, I will show you in more detail what I did. See, as I'm digging and digging, it's like when Dale sends somebody a box of goodies. I said that in the comments to, I think to Sarah. I says, what the heck? Does she pack the stuff in bottomless boxes? Like, the goodies just keep coming and coming and coming. Like, how is that possible? And her answer was, she just really, apparently she packs like she was playing Tetris. So gets a lot of stuff in, you know, probably a pretty compact area. Again, because everybody has to try to save on postage. Okay, so what have we got here? We want to keep quite white on this side. Now, of course, if a person, whoops, didn't leave much to tear there. If a person wanted to make this go even faster, you'd sort of almost do it like an assembly line. And, you know, everybody gets one of those, everybody gets one of these. Oh. Ah. The heck? I just cut myself with scissors. Let's see if it, well, maybe I won't bleed all over the project. Oh. Don't think I have a Band-Aid right here. Let's check this desk. I've got rulers galore. Mind you, just a little bit of pressure should stop this. Or I could put some Scotch tape on. Oh, brother. Yeah, I'm surprised I don't have a bag. Or if I do, I can't find it easily. Let's just tape this baby up. Because the show must go on. Good as new. Okay, what was I doing? I was going to glue down this stuff. So I hope that if you haven't seen Tina's video where she kind of announced this idea, that you seek it out. I would think if you were searching her channel, you'd probably put snippet book or something to that effect, and it should come up. Yeah, and of course, she must have done a bunch off camera, and then she did several more in her video, and it was a thing of beauty. And then her fear was that, you know, she would be reluctant to use them. So It happens to everybody, apparently. I love this ribbon. So I could put joy there, although that's fairly long. And you know, when you're cutting, even if you're just cutting through those two tiny little wires, it's best not to use your best scissors, because scissors weren't really intended to cut wire, if you know what I mean. I think I'll cut that down. You can see that these are my go-to scissors for everything, and they probably are. So that could be, you know, angled. And again, just because I have it whatever way I have it in this book doesn't mean that that's the way it would get attached to a page. Got some gold cord, some green ribbon, got more. Oh, see, this would be... Do I want to pull the cord out? Let's just cut a piece of this off, because this little experiment of mine is likely to fail. Oops, maybe. Voila. So if this unravels, I really don't care, because there was a limit to where it can go, because it will have been secured like so. But we're going to use Fabri-Tac for that. One thing, I don't know, I hope that that you are subscribers to Angela, the Traveling Crafter. She, and I don't know her that well. I like what I see. I think she has some really great videos for projects, and she has live sales on Thursdays, most weeks, except I think the first Thursday of the month. And seems to be very passionate about promoting other channels. And we know that you know, sometimes there's lip service about stuff like that, and then sometimes there's really action, like walking the walk and not just talking the talk. Anyway, again, I really don't know her backstory. I guess I should maybe try to find it out. But anyway, the point I want to make is that she came up with this brainwave of doing something called a maker's market. And it would be global in nature, an application process, an opportunity for people to buy and sell merchandise. It's not exclusive in the sense that if you get accepted to sell there, you know, you have to forsake all others, like Etsy or, you know, wherever else a person might be selling. So anyway, there is a live Q&A coming up. Wait, she sent me an email. I think it's, well, okay, I'll tell you what. It's best if you subscribe, because then you will have all her info. I could link her, I'll put that bit in the description box. But you could also ask to be notified about, lives that are coming up. Anyway, so I think it's innovative, and I know I have questions. I did apply, but I still have questions and would kind of like to know what's what. So hopefully I can tune in, unless we're back at my daughter's because of the big move. See how nicely this is? Why don't I help it along here? And why don't I get this guy going? Now this, maybe looks a bit, let me hold it up and have a look-see. I guess it's not bad. And a person could still add something to it. A button or bejewel it somehow. Bedazzle it. Isn't that the word? Okay, let's do a couple more steps to some of these, and then I'll let you go, because obviously you have to use what you have. Oh, there's this. Now, mind you, that's kind of, it's too big for all of these, but I can add some of this stuff. And again, it's like if you chose to decorate your house, maybe you really like the crispness and cleanliness of white, and you're doing an all white room, maybe plan to do surgeries on the sideline. Anyway, the trick to doing an all white or an all one color room, of course, is to introduce different textures. So that's essentially what I'm doing here. 3 pieces. So far, 3 different feels. to the components. And that's the way you get around using the same color. Another thing that I like to use, did I glue that down? Yes, I did. Where did I see it? Oh, I've got lots. But now when I take the gathering, okay, sometimes you get thrifted lace that is multi-layered. So I typically take it apart. So here's some off-white, here's some white. I've got red, I've got blue. These things are kind of nice to use as well. They're not, geez, I'm all gooey here. They're not particularly wide. Let's see if I can open this up. It's only going to be about 1/2 inch wide or so. Well, I guess more like 1 inch. But a person could certainly, if you just need a small bit of something, this is a more manageable thing to use than a 6-inch spool of tulle. So, think about saving that the next time you encounter some. I would like to, I know what I wanted to do something with the Santa faces. Because wouldn't that be a cute focal point? Maybe if I go this way, no one will get beheaded. So glad when I get my nails done in a couple of days. And now because I think I want to make that smaller because it covers up too much of the... Now on something like this, a person would maybe use a bigger piece, but let's find a good size here. And of course, you know, something like that I wouldn't throw away either, because then how would I have all the stuff? That drives me insane. See, now that I have it against there, it's not good because there's not enough contrast between the two layers. Does this tear? No. Well, it does, but not well. Oh, so did I finish my thought about Angela? Anyway, so there is a website, and there are items listed already, but this upcoming Q&A thing will explain things, I'm hoping, a lot better than, I mean, you know, answer questions that any of us might have. And it's not limited to, you know, just journal makers or whatever. It is, you know, you could be a knitter, you could be a painter, you could be whatever. Now, what's with that guy's beard? I have him the right size, and now I notice that his beard has some red on. Okay, I think this will be, once I get this down, this will be it for me. I haven't looked lately to see. I was fearing that I was talking to dead air again. I was replying to some comments, and I said to somebody that, yeah, since then, it was my daughter that phoned and, what would be the word? Anyway, stopped the phone from, I thought that was a big gob of glue, but I guess not. Anyway, that stopped the video in its tracks. And she said, why don't you put it on, what is the terminology? I don't know. Anyway, you kind of stop notifications. So, of course, like tech support, she walked me through it. Well, where do I find that, I say? Anyways, she walked me through it. I found it. And I said, so that will stop phone calls and texts? And she says, yes. Now, of course, you can probably guess what I'm going to say. With my luck, I would forget to turn it back on till days later. Gee, nobody seems to be calling. So, yeah, that is the danger. It's just like when you put your phone on silent in a theater or something. But if I put a Post-it on my forehead, it would probably help. That might be a better. Is that a better shape? Or too much like the shapes underneath it? So let's put this guy down and call it a video. So I had someone request, Denise. I had Denise request, she'd like me to do a master board. So that's something that I'll be doing soon because, hey, I like to please if I can. So I'm going to stop there, knowing that, you know, I didn't get a heck of a lot done other than several things started. So I'll continue working on these on my own. Oh, look how that's unraveling. Maybe what I have to do, if it's not too late already, is make a bow. Whoopsie, let's pull this back and let's pull this way. And if those little gold fibers are, you know, doing their own thing, that's okay. I should probably make bows with the rest of this, and probably Fabri-Tac, because the rest is going to keep unraveling. So at least that knot in the middle will stop that. And again, if it kind of does its own thing, probably time to clean the tip on this thing. Anyway, I hope that you check out Tina's thing and make yourself one or two of these books, because I think that it's a wonderful idea. And check out Angela. And if you're at all interested, or even just want more information about what the Maker's Market is, then tune in on, let's see if I can get the date right here, because again, you know, you tape on one day, schedule it for another, people see it on yet another date. Of course, if you can't tune in for the live, the replay is always there available as well. So and of course, a person could also add buttons to this, or eyelets, or brads, rickrack. I didn't use any rickrack. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I will put those two channels in the description box, so please check them out. And do one of these for yourself. See, this would be good here. Can you tell I'm going to keep working on this? Anyway, that's it. We'll see you again in the next one. Bye.